Hello and welcome to the Gabba for Willow Talk Extras, wrapping up day 4 of the third test. Izzy Westbury here with Brad Haddin, and this is the first time I think we've got to day 4 in this series so far. So a quick summary of the scores. India started the day 4 wickets down, 51 on the board, which meant they were 394 runs behind Australia's first innings total. With the first ball of the day, Pat Cummins thought he had his first wicket of the day, but it was a dolly of a drop, unfortunately, by Steve Smith at slip, which gave KL Rahul his chance, and boy did he take it. He went on to make 84 from 139 deliveries, most of which occurred in a first session, which pretty much went about 3 hours, the little rain delay in between. But it was hot work out there, and the bowlers for Australia really had to toil, even more so because Josh Hazlewood, obviously one of the spearheads of the attack, had to go off injured. He didn't start the day. There was conjecture over what was going on, and in the end it was, I think, a confirmed calf tear or something along the lines, but we'll go to that in a minute because he is out of the series. It meant that the load was put back onto the rest of the Australian bowlers, allowed KL Rahul to form a 67-run partnership with Ravi Jadeja. In the end, Rahul did fall to a stunning catch by Smith off the bowling of Nathan Lyon for 84. Went into lunch, there was rain, there was a lot of on and off again, like we've seen the last couple of days, but then a 53-run partnership between Jadeja and Reddy really frustrated things, and a kind of story towards the back end of the day was that Australia looking to enforce the follow-on. 9 wickets down, they thought they were in with the chance, but then it was the partnership between Bumrah and Akash deep, between them bringing the total or the deficit below 200, and in the end bad light stopped play, and it means that tomorrow, the 5th day of the test, Australia will need to bat again at some point, and it's unlikely that we're going to get a result. Big news of the day. I mean, after there's so much going on the field, but really it was off the field that it really counted today, has, because Josh Hazlewood, he's been, he's out of the series.
Well, you know what, Izzy? I don't know if I've got any words left. I'm not used to using all my material up into day 4. We haven't seen day 4 of a test match for some time, but there's a lot that came out of today. The one thing from a pure cricket point of view that came out of today was how the wicket changed when the ball got really soft.
Oh, yeah, you could hear it, couldn't you?
You can. And there's going to be a stage tomorrow where Australia bowl, and I think there's going to be a lot of up and down in that wicket. The crack started to open up. I was just talking to Nathan Lyon. It was horribly, horribly hot out there today. The bowlers are exhausted. It's a big effort with Josh Hazlewood going down. But this test match is not over. We all thought once the follow-on was passed, and you've seen how excited India were. They've been bowled out 3 times in this series under 200, and this is not going to get any easier with the new ball. So expect tomorrow to be a really entertaining test day of cricket. Don't be surprised if we see Travis head up the top of the order, open that front leg. It could be good to watch. But the big talking point to come out of the day was Hazlewood's injury. Suffered a calf strain in warm-ups. He tried to come out and bowl with no luck. But what it does do, it opens the door for Victoria's own Scotty Boland. The script's written.
Well, again, going back to my own biases of having watched him play against England, of course, make his Test match debut at the G, I know that he's pretty handy on those surfaces.
Well, he knows that surface as well as anyone. And we've seen, as you said, when he went through England there, but he was outstanding in the pink ball test. So it's disappointing for Hazlewood. We're lucky we've got someone like Scott Boland sitting there in the wings, but yeah, it was a good day's test cricket. A lot of interesting things to me come out. The big one that come out of it, actually, was Jadeja. He looked in total control with KL Rahul today with the way they played, but it's 3 test matches in, and that's the first time we've seen him.
It seems almost absolutely balmy, and I know hindsight is a wonderful thing, to think that he didn't start the series. I understand that the R. Ashwin playing at Adelaide Oval is a thing. He's got a good record there. But Washington Sundar, I know he had a good end of the series against New Zealand, but it does seem kind of balmy that Jadeja, with his batting, his bowling and his fielding, he averages 50 in Australia. How on earth did he not start the series?
Well, it's an interesting one because the 3 test matches, they've gone with 3 different spinners. So do you want someone that holds? Do you want an Ashwin type that can be attacking and do both roles? I think they've been clouded a little bit by the way Reddy's batted. I think if he didn't start the series so well with the bat, I think Jadeja would have been in. But he played outstanding today. That the partnership he had with Rahul was first class. It just showed to me there is a way to score and the way to play for the Indian batsmen. They still drove down the ground and drove through the covers, but when the ball was really pitched up, they played under their eyes. They had a game plan. They knew where their off stump was. So the rest of the Indian batsmen can take a really close look, have a chat to those guys, what their game plan is, what areas they're trying to score at. They knew what the bowlers were trying to do. So it was a great partnership. As I said before, this game's still a red-hot chance for Australia to win, but there were some good signs from both teams to come out of it today.
Now, one little talking point, and it probably is a little talking point in the scheme of things, is Steve Smith. He said coming into the series that he'd found his hands. We saw him score a century earlier on in this match. Have you ever seen a disparity between the dropping of a dolly, which he did on ball one to the bowling of Pat Cummins? I mean, it literally came into his hands at about, waist height. It was there for the taking and just spilled it. Disparity between that drop and his absolute hanger of a catch off Nathan Lyon's bowling, diving far to his right and clutching one. I mean, that's extraordinary. What's going on there?
Well, it's interesting. I've played a lot of cricket with Steve Smith and stood beside him a lot in slips, and he's as good as anyone I've seen in the slips. He's got a great set of hands, and that was shown with the Rahul dismissal, the way he anticipated where the ball was going to go. He took the extra step, took a wonderful catch. I haven't seen him drop one like that ever, and played a lot of cricket. I don't know whether there's a concentration lapse, but yeah, it's something that I've never seen. I've never seen someone of that standard drop a catch like that, but it happens to the best of us.
Talked about Jadeja. Rahul similarly has continued to impress on this tour. What was it that Rahul and Jadeja are doing differently to the rest of this Indian batting lineup, certainly on Australian pitches?
I think what Rahul's doing is he really understands what the Australians are trying to do to him with the ball. He knows they're trying to get him to play with his hands outside his body, so he's only driving when the ball's right under his nose and he's playing it late. The big thing to me is he's trusted his technique. And what I mean by that, he trusts his defence. He knows where off stump is. And he's always looking to score. Even if Australia are bowling well to him, he's got a really positive step forward. He's hitting the middle of the bat every time. And the more bigger names in the team can have a really close look at the way he's playing. We've seen that Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli get caught out behind the wicket today, playing with their hands outside their body, and they both fell to the trap. They both fell to the trap of a couple of short balls and just got caught in the crease with their hands outside their body. But Rahul just has a really good understanding of what Australia are trying to do to him.
Now, one Indian batter who could do with a few tips, perhaps, from those two, and who really has struggled here, is Rohit Sharma. I mean, he missed the first test, he came into the second test, scores of 3-6, and today he fell for 10. He certainly hasn't quietened any doubters about his spot in the middle order, and indeed his role as captain. Sanjay Mandraker on X said, "I guess the time has come to scrutinise the role of a batting coach in the Indian team. Why major technical issues have remained unresolved for so long with certain Indian batters?" Now, I understand that India do not, under Gautam Gambhir, have an assigned batting coach. They have a couple of assistant coaches, Rantan Descartes, somebody else as well. Do they need a batting coach? Is that one of the issues?
Well, what do you need it for? What's he trying to say there? Gautam Gambhir's got a really good understanding of the game technically and mentally. Those two players, they'll have their own people that they talk to. I don't think it's so much a technical thing. Yes, at times they've played with their hands outside their body. It's just more of a mindset thing. You know what Australia are trying to do to you. You know they're trying to get you to play outside your eye line with your hands rather than your shape. So it looks like a technical thing, but they've bowled like that to Virat Kohli for a long time. You put it out to force stump, and then you see if his patience is up to it. And at the moment, we've seen a couple go through the keeper where he's got a little bit of a scratch on him. So, yeah, they've got enough people that they'll talk to. The modern-day player, yes, you have a big staff. You've got Gautam Gambhir there. You've got Ryan Tenduskarta. But they will be talking to people that they've used time and time again. And it's not always a technical thing. Sometimes it's a mindset thing, a concentration thing, or just to realise what the bowlers are trying to do with you.
Final question from me before we move on to the Secret Cricket Club questions is that last wicket partnership between for the 10th wicket partnership between Bumrah and Deep, which is ongoing, 39 from 54 deliveries. They passed the follow-on target, so kind of ensured that Australia have to bat again. Australia looked absolutely ragged at the end, and that's because of the time and the conditions, the humidity that they've had to bowl in, obviously without one bowler in Josh Hazlewood as well. Was there anything that Australia could have done differently to try and prize those two out?
I think the Aussies did all that they could today. It was a big effort. They're one fast bowler down, and to do that in any test team, it's a big load on the rest of them. They tried a lot of different things. They're really proactive in their fields. They went after them with short pitch bowling. They bowled full at the stumps with a couple of slips. So they tried everything they could today. Sometimes you've got to give credit to the opposition, the way they played. It was a tough, draining day. I was talking to Nathan Lyon just downstairs, and he said the heat coming from the ground today with all the weather was draining. The players were absolutely cooked. It was a big effort today. And the other thing about it, Australia's still right in front in this game. Yes, they would have liked to have the opportunity to enforce the follow-on, but this game's not over. Yeah, and if India think like that, this game has a funny way of coming back and biting you on the butt.
So tomorrow, you reckon Australia a good chance for a win?
Well, I think Australia are the only team that's chance for a win. We're going to see some really aggressive batting to start with, and then we're going to see an Indian batting or to put under some pressure. The new ball's going to be hard work, and if Mitchell, Starc, Hazlewood, I think Mitch Marsh will play a bigger role tomorrow. And he bowled 2 overs today, and what I think the reason with that is because the ball got so soft. He'll be a different proposition when the ball's harder, and you'll have to see him bowl between 10 and 15 overs, I think, tomorrow as well. And he'll get the ball to swing with the cracks with the new ball. There will be a little bit up and down with that new ball. So this game's still alive.
Well, I'm hearing from that we're in for a bit of a crackerjack of a day tomorrow. It could be a lot of fun, so do tune in, of course, to Triple M. I believe it starts at 10 to 10 once again in the morning local time. We'll move on now then to the final segment, Secret Cricket Club questions. And Christopher asks, India is still so hard to beat. Well, hold your horses. How good, though, has Cummins been today?
I think Paddy has been outstanding. I thought his leadership was great. The way he was really proactive in what he was trying to do with the fields. He tried to get the batsmen, even when they were in that partnership with Jadeja and Rahul, he's trying to get them to make different decisions. And he didn't shirk the hard work today. It was extreme conditions out there today. He bowled all day. He was clever with his bowling changes with one bowler down. So, yeah, I think his captaincy and presence has been outstanding.
Yeah, 4 for 80 off 20.5 overs Cummins, and equally Mitchell Starc, 3 for 83 off 24. They really had to shoulder the load, and they did. It made a sterling effort out of it. So, yeah, as you say, nothing else they could have done, really, on a day like today under such stifling heat. Luke asks, I love Bison, so Mitch Marsh, but his inability to bowl today has been a massive issue. Does Webster come in, Bo Webster?
Oh, I think Webster's... We know he's in the selectors' thoughts, but I think Bison will be there for the remainder of the series. I expect him to bowl a lot more with the new ball tomorrow. He'll get some swing, and I think he'll enjoy the conditions out here with a harder ball. So, he'll be around the squad, but Bison's spot it's not under any threat at all. So, mate, what about the way he's catching? It's Air Bison in the gully. Took 3 catches a day. Very athletic one out in the deep boundary. So, I don't think his spot's under threat at all.
You've got Air Jordan. We've got Air Bison here. Someone needs to make a little silhouette of him jumping. James asks, Alex Carey's catch to get rid of Siraj. How often are those sort of catches practiced? Had made those full-length dives look so easy back in the day. That's a good one for a wicket keeper then.
I think Alex Carey, take that catch away. His movements have been really sharp the whole Test match. Both keepers had a tough game with the pink ball because there's a lot of movement once the ball passed the bat in the pink ball, and it was really hard for both teams to get the middle of their gloves. It was tough work, the pink ball, but Alex Carey's been really sharp behind the stumps. His batting was outstanding, but those sort of catches, they're the ones you train for. And the best part about it for me is it was late in the day. And that shows to me his preparation spot on, his endurance is exactly where you want it, and he's concentrating late in the day. It's been very, very hot in these conditions. So what I like most about it is the time he took it.
And also the positioning from my perspective is that, really nicely in front of first slip, no clashes there. The right, we've seen from the Indian slip cordon, sometimes they've been quite far back, but they really knew what they were doing there. From a wicket-keeper's perspective, if you're batting well, does that normally translate into you're going to be pretty solid behind the stumps as well?
Yeah, when you're feeling good about all your game, it obviously rubs off on your gloves. And Alex Carey's batting was exactly what Australia needed at that time. I like the way when his first thought is to score runs.
Yeah.
And then if the ball's not in an area to score, he's still been really positive in his defence, and that's where he plays the best. A couple of times he charged down the wicket and put the pressure back on the bowling, and that's when he plays his best, when he's putting the pressure back onto the bowling. So Alex Carey at the moment, he had a great lead-in. He got the runs he deserved this innings, and he's keeping his first class. He was very, very sharp this test match.
And a nice guy to boot. So, yeah, good stuff. Good signs there for Australia. And finally, the final question. A different James says, I don't know what you'll think about this one. We're having to suit up every day in this humidity, Hads. But we need more Hads on Fox. Thoughts?
Why not?
Absolutely. Another paycheck. What can I say?
Do it for the love. Give him back to the game, Izzy.
Well, that's it. It is very dark and gloomy out here at the Gabba. Day 4 of the third test of the border-gavaskar trophy. But we're going to head over to, I think, the Cricketers Club, perhaps, have a bevy or two. It's good night from me, Izzy Westbury, and good night from Brad Haddin.
I'm looking at that Cricketers Club, and I can't wait.
Yeah, thanks for watching the Willow Talk podcast on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't have to miss an episode wherever you are. And while you're at it, check out these videos up here. They're mostly good.